So the story of 47 Ronin is an important part of Japanese history. So how does this Western version show this very well-known tale?
47 Ronin is a very famous story in Japan, and known popularly around the world. It took place in 1701 to 1703 in terms of the event and the restitution in terms of taking Kira's head, and the 47 Ronin coming to the place, the resting place, and restoring the honor of the house of Akko. Carl Rinch, the director, and the studio, Universal, took this story and wanted to do an adaptation, and we've added elements. My character that I play, Kai, is a half-breed outsider. He's half English, half Japanese. He's raised by the Tengu. He ends up escaping and coming to Akko, and so there's a lot of respect paid to the story of the 47 Ronin, and at the same time there's these added elements, which to me makes a Carl always talked about wanting to make an Eastern Western, right? And so it's kind of opening up the story, opening up the world, but maintaining the integrity of the story in the sense of honor and place, adding this element of the forbidden love. I'm in love with the princess who's in love with me, but we can't be together. Yeah. And also adding in, some of the creatures. There's a kind of snake dragon, there's a witch, there's a kidding, which are fantastic. Yeah. But they're all based in Japanese folk art, right. Japanese myth. So there's a real nice integration, I feel. And it's what you want in a movie.
And introducing it to the rest of the world, basically.
And I feel like it's got universal themes.
Yeah, totally. Well, and going off of that, can you tell us a little bit more about your character and kind of the themes that run through his character and what he's fighting for? Sure.
I play a character named Kai, who's a half-breed. He's half Japanese, half English. He ends up being abandoned and left with the Tengu monks, I call them. Yeah, he ends up getting left and abandoned. I should probably start that again. I play a character named Kai, who's a half-breed. And when we find him, he's escaping from where he was abandoned and raised with the Tengu monks. And he ends up in a place called Akko, where there's a benevolent leader, Lord Asano. And he ends up being used as a kind of tracker, hunter.
And he has certain strengths that kind of are...
Yeah, I mean, he's being raised by the Tengu, he learned he has these kind of martial techniques, let's call them. He can fight a certain way. He can see witchcraft. He has this connection to nature. Right. And then in certain moments he can do this kind of almost...
meditation.
Well, it's kind of like passing through movement, passing through space at an accelerated rate. Kai is seeking to belong. He's in love with the princess, Mika. And really my journey is trying to save her from the clutches of, Lord Kira.
That's great. Yeah. So there's amazing action in the film. You've got some sword fighting and bow and arrows. How was that for you, and did you really enjoy that kind of part of acting?
Yeah, in 47 Ronin, I had a chance to do some sword fighting, Japanese longsword, which was a lot of fun. You know, I got to work with Hiroyuki Sanada, who is a great swordsman, great actor. He's playing the character Oishija. You know, I really admire his work. You know, we got to do some horse riding, some sword fighting. I got to fight some, you know, a witch.
Ginormous men.
Yeah, which. So I really enjoy the physical part of storytelling. You know, it adds an intensity to it. It helps, you know, to struggle and fight.
Right.
You know, it's fun.
How was it working with Neil Fingleton? I think he's the 7'6" guy.
Yeah, Neil. He plays
Ronin.
Neil plays a character called the Lovecraftian in the film, and you know, he's was a really cool guy.
Yeah.
You know.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So obviously you worked alongside some amazing Japanese talent. Can you tell us a little bit more about your experience with them and what that sort of means to you? And between speaking Japanese and English and...
Yeah, the cast for 47 Ronin, I was introduced to really all of us together for the first time was in London at Shepperton Studios, and it was kind of cool. It's like everyone was kind of coming in from different parts of the world and their lives, you know, and here's Ko, who's playing Mika, and, you know, Rinko, who's playing the witch, and, you know, Tadanobu Asano, he's coming in, who's, you know, and I've seen work, you know, like Tad's work, you know. Hiro I had trained with in LA, so it was cool to be there, and what I came to learn is that everyone had a personal experience with 47 Ronin. You know, growing up, whether it was being told the story by their parents or their grandparents, watching it on film, on television, you know, it was a part of them. And it added, and found that to be true with all of the cast. And it kind of bonded everyone. You know, that we were on this journey to tell this story in this way, which was cool. You know, for me, I was an outsider in the sense, you know, that I don't speak Japanese. You know, tried my best to do what I could, but it was good for Kai.
Exactly,
you know, because I was kind of the outsider, but ultimately, you know, I end up teaming up with Oishija on this journey, you know, where it's, because 47 is really like a struggle of the few against the many, you know, and so as the filming came together and the journey of making the film, you know, you could just feel this
energy.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much.